3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing a quick guide to soloing the very first two bosses in the Throne of Thunder, and the reason why you would want to do that is because a mount drops from Horridon, which is pretty cool, and I'm assuming quite a few people would like to get that. I think Horridon also drops a pet as well, but that's neither here nor there. The very first thing you'll need to do is kill Jin'rokh, and Jin'rokh can actually be a bit of an issue due to a resetting problem. Now, first of all, I am doing this as a hunter, which does make it quite a bit easier, and, well, frankly, some of this Throne of Thunder stuff just won't be soloable to some classes, and you will need good gear. I'm actually playing rather terribly at the minute, but I am in 676 gear, which obviously sort of pads it out quite a lot. Now, the thing with Jin'rokh the Destroyer is that when he goes to throw you, now you'll see that he never throws me in this video because of the way that I've done things, but normally when he goes to throw you, what happens is he actually just resets, and that makes the boss unkillable. Now, even with my pet out, what would happen is Jin'rokh would essentially reset, and I wouldn't be able to get the kill. What I ended up doing is I essentially constantly misdirected. There's a glyph which lets us do that to our pet, which meant that I was never really on Jin'rokh's aggro table, I think, which meant that he never tried to throw me. Therefore, I never ran into that problem. As for the rest of the fight, well, the mechanics really are not particularly hard. Obviously, you'll take a lot of damage to your face, and that will be a bit of a problem. Now, he does throw those lightning balls out at you, which you can see happen. They're not really that much of an issue, they don't do a lot of damage, though you don't want to kite them on top of each other. As you can see, I'm being a little bit sort of loose with these because obviously the boss fight's not really lasting that long and space won't be an issue. Now, after a while, he does his lightning thingy phase. I think he's about to do it here. That lightning phase does AoE damage all around the place, but I never really found it to be too much of an issue. Honestly, Jin'rokh is, for a hunter anyway, simple enough, apart from that one annoyance with the reset. Now, if you can't figure out a way to do that with your own class mechanics, essentially anything, from what I've heard and read, anything that summons a guardian will do it. So, say an engineering training dummy, that will do it. A army of the dead, anything like that. I'll probably throw up an annotation or something once I do a little bit more reading, but that's essentially how I got past the problem, and that's really it for Jin'rokh. Now, moving on to Horridon. Horridon's actually way easier than Jin'rokh, though you will see that at the end of this fight, I just drop the ball magnificently and do terrible. As with Horridon back in the day, you just want to do the mechanics. Don't focus on the boss. I ended up doing that towards the end, and it actually did get me killed, but we died simultaneously. I'll ruin the surprise. That's what happened. Now, if you're not aware, what happens with this guy is the 4 doors around the room will open one at a time, and a bunch of ads will come out. You want to focus down the ads. It's simple as that. Kill the ads first. It's the it's the headache-free way of doing this. You're not going to run into the enrage. Don't worry. Now, as for Horridon's actual abilities, I think his tank swap thing is called double strike or puncture or something. It's not really something you can deal with because, of course, you're soloing this, so you'll just have to soak the damage if you are a melee player. In terms of melee survivability, I don't know what this is like. Obviously, say if you're like a mage or a rogue, chances are this is going to be unsoloable for you for quite a while because those classes just aren't as good at soloing things, so little bit unfortunate. Maybe this is something that's really is just the realms of hunters and warlocks and DKs and warriors and things like that. Anyway, so you can see the Dinomancer appeared here. Now, when the Dinomancer appears, he starts doing this ability which heals up Horridon. Obviously, that's a pretty bad thing for us, so you want to kill him, and more importantly, you want to interrupt that heal. Very simple. After that, he drops an orb. Just right-click on the orb. That will get Horridon to plow his face into one of those doors. That will move you onto the next door, which will have a bunch of new ads in it, but more importantly, it will give him a damage taken, like, buff or debuff, so essentially you do more damage to him. That's fine. What you ideally want to do is then reposition him over to the next door. You can see me sort of do this. It's a little bit awkward with the pet, but yeah, then you're on to the next door. You're on to the next door. Just rinse and repeat. Kill all the ads, and don't let yourself get murdered by Horridon. Really not that bad. Now, I didn't find that any of the ads from any of the doors, actually, were that problematic. The problem for me was, and you might see this in the video, I don't know how I'll edit this together, but my biggest problem is I let up so many of them be alive at once towards the end that it actually very nearly killed me and ruined everything. So don't do that. In terms of other things, yeah, he will do what he's doing right now, actually. He'll charge at you, does his little front and back swipe thingy. Not a problem. Just don't stand in it. I mean, a lot of this is very much common sense. And with our gear and Warlords of Draenor, a lot of the mechanics don't really matter that much. You can be hit by the odd thing and you'll probably be fine, honestly. And the one thing that is definitely very important is that if you are especially a class who can't really ship the damage off to a pet like I can, then you're going to have to think about your defensive cooldowns, and if you are speccing yourself, you want to spec in such a way that, you know, you've got a lot of mitigation. So basically you want a bit more survival than DPS, because DPS absolutely will not be your issue. You can see here I'm being a little bit lax with the Dinomancer. I let him get far too much of a cast off, which is kind of a pity, but it didn't particularly matter as it turned out, because we do so much damage. I mean, Horridon was just killed in a few minutes here, so it's really okay. Now, in terms of things that you may want to do in general for soloing, bring your Drums of Fury if your class cannot do full heroism. That's always quite handy. Bring some food. I forgot food. Food would have been very helpful. Also, just, you know, potions and flasks, various things like that, all nice and simple. And then, of course, like an engineering dummy or something like that for Jin'rokh to avoid that issue. Now, with this Horridon fight, you can see that I've actually got Horridon nearly dead at this point, and really, this is where I completely cock up. So the Drukhari forced to start pouring out of their door, and I get really lazy. Now, when Horridon gets to, I think, 20%, this guy appears. He's called War God something. You just want to nuke him down as quickly as possible, because he does just a myriad of nasty things. So, get him dead, essentially, is what you want to do. And really, after that, it's just, you know, continue on. The important thing, I suppose, is that ideally you don't want to push Horridon to 20% while there are still doors open. Now, there are 4 doors, you can see here. It's on the 3rd door where those frost trolls come out, and that's when I pushed Horridon, which just led into loads of problems for me. I shouldn't have done that way. And what you want to do is just kill all the doors, then finish off the fight. It'll be far smoother, far more repeatable, and far less of a complete headache for you. And that's really it for Horridon. I know that, you know, for a lot of people, they're going to see this video and think, oh, well, bloody hell, you're playing a hunter. Of course it was easy. Yeah, and I don't know the specifics of every single class in the game. Therefore, you know, I think the people who are interested in soloing this in their own class will know their own class's mechanics well enough to be able to piece something together for this. So the next fight in this instance is something I haven't soloed yet, because it's actually kind of tricky, though it can be soloed. And it's the Council of Elders. Basically, if TLDR, what you need to do is just nuke down the Frost guy as quickly as possible. And once you do that, it's sort of smooth sailing. I haven't really got the whole thing down. I can nuke him down, but I just haven't been able to get, like, nice, repeatable kills. So I will probably do that in the future. The reason why you want to get past that, by the way, is because G-Kun does actually drop a mount. But for now, this is just getting us the Horridon mount. So you can see I kind of recovered from my folly. It was an absolute mess, but it's okay, we're alive now, and then I can finish it off. The drop rate is pretty low for this, unfortunately, and I don't think the mount, I'm actually pretty sure the mount doesn't drop from a bonus roll, so really you're just going to have to get farming. Now, I don't know whether this video came out the day before or after the Mogushan Vaults video, but really you can add this and Mogushan Vaults into your weekly mount rotation if you are if you really enjoy farming up your mounts. So it's nice, and obviously as time goes on and we get more gear and warlords, this stuff will be more soloable for more classes. Certainly by the end of the next tier, I think most of 10-player Mists of Pandaria content will be quite easily soloable, because of the just insane increases in power that we get from tier to tier. But anyway, that is it. I hope you have good luck doing this. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.